Yeah, so hey everybody, Crystal and Florian here, and today we are talking about tough decisions or making tough decisions in the heart types of 2, 3, and 4. And for those of you who don't know your type or you want to have more information about the Enneagram, which is our favorite tool, that's what we're using today, then you can jump on the link that's posted here to go to the Community Hub where you can take the free assessment.
Excellent, exactly. Join our Facebook group and then you find out your type. So, and for everybody else, let's get started.
Let's do it. So first I'm going to say I'm a little under the weather, so I'm not as bubbly and cheerful as usual, but that's okay. We can still talk about tough decisions. So we're going to start with type 2. And type 2 is, of course, one of the heart types, the giver. And type 2s, when it comes to making tough decisions, will usually take into account other people first. So they'll be thinking, what does the other person want from me? What do they expect? What do they need? What does that group need from me? So the tough decisions, when they're thinking them through, they'll tend to be focused on what other people would need and want first. And that's classic in how they operate in life, taking care and giving to others. So when it comes to making tough decisions, what can be really, really helpful to a type 2 is if they can balance that out by also reflecting on what they need, what's making this decision tough for them, and almost being what we'd say is like selfish in a healthy way. That self-focus to say, okay, if I didn't have to worry about everybody else for a minute, what would I really want to do here?
Do you feel like that the tough decisions that a 2 actually feels themselves as being tough are actually tougher because they're worrying more about others rather than a tough decision that's more about themselves?
That can make it really challenging. Like I'm thinking of a lot of the clients I've had as type 2s. What can be really painful is how they'll notice other people's problems, like their kids or their spouse or somebody they work with, and they'll just want to help so badly, but help is not always received. They may want to give it, but is it being received is a whole nother question. So that can be really challenging. And it can also be challenging when 2s come up against tough decisions that are really about themselves, and they may have challenges asking other people for help, reaching out and saying, hey, I need support, I need advice, I need a hand, because they usually are the ones who are giving the advice, giving the help. So going through a tough decision for a type 2 can feel really lonely when it's their own tough decision, something personal. And something else that's really helpful for them is to reach out and seek that support, kind of balancing things out with all the people they've helped along the way, and then they've been giving their energy to. It can be wonderful for them to finally get to receive some help in the process of making a tough decision.
Absolutely. And you know a bunch of 2s, and my mom is a 2, so how can we help them? How can we help them when they have a tough decision?
Actually, we may have a 2 on the line right now. I see Naomi with a little thumbs up here. So Naomi, type 2, if you have any comments you want to drop, on what is helpful to you when it comes to making a tough decision, what should others know? I mean, I'd say, if I'm going to look at it from my lens, what would help a type 2 in making a tough decision, like I said, turn inward and be self-focused and say, what do I really need in making this decision before looking at everybody else and what their needs are? And to also receive help would be great for a type 2. So next, let's move on to type 3 next. Oh, and I'll watch for your comment, Naomi. Take your time and we'll circle back around to it. I see a big So with type 3, quite a different process. When type 3s come up against tough decisions, while they're still a heart type, they tend not to get too muddled down in like the tender feelings. Instead, they want to just move things along. And they're going to be really focused on, well, what result do I need to get out of this? What's the result I'm seeking? What do I need to achieve? How do I need to go about this to present myself in a really good way and come out in a way that aligns with how I want to see myself? 3s are naturally already, they're kind of balanced between their own focus of what they want for themselves, their goals, and also what others expect of them. They definitely have a radar on the world, like a pulse of what do others need and expect from me? So in making a tough decision, they're definitely going to be strategic about it. Like, what is the outcome I'm seeking here? And that's very helpful. A challenge for the type 3, though, is sometimes they're so focused on that kind of logical progression or of the outcome that they fail to touch down with what's in their heart, something more tender. something a little more personal and maybe more vulnerable. They tend to also want to act very quickly. And so slowing it down can be helpful, just to take the time and know they don't have to rush into a decision. And also for type threes, it's really hurtful when they feel judged by others. And that can put them in kind of this analysis paralysis of how to make a decision, because they don't want to offend other people or come across in a bad way. So if they can step back from that and say, well, if I wasn't worried about being judged, if I wasn't worried about how I appeared, how my image appeared to others, and I align more with the virtue of what's true and what has integrity for me, that can give them more of a clear, defined direction to take in making a tough decision.
Interesting. This almost sounds like type 2 and type 3 have almost a little bit of a similar challenge by focusing more on others than on themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And both have a hard time asking for help. I mean, threes are so naturally like, I'm so good at everything, I can just take care of it and get it done, that it's hard to admit when we're feeling stuck, or I can't get it done, or I'm at an impasse, I don't know what to do. So how
do you go about with people like that? Because you typically say you want to be asked for help, but if there are types that tend to not ask for help, how do you even navigate that?
That's a challenge. You know, people have to come to it on their own time of saying, okay, I'm ready to receive help. You can always ask them, hey, would you like some help? It seems to me you may be struggling. Would you like some help? And just offer it, and being perfectly fine with them saying, nope, no, thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So we're going to type 4 now?
Let's do it. So type 4, the individualist or the romantic. And so type 4 is the one that's really focused on authenticity. They want to be free to express themselves in their fullest, and whatever that may mean in the moment. And they tend to have a focus on what's missing. You know, they can really feel the darker feelings and what's just not yet right. And for a type 4, when they're faced with tough decisions, they tend to go straight into their emotions. They can become very inwardly focused, and they just can mull around inside saying, oh, how do I feel about this? What does this mean to me? And in order to remedy a tough decision, they will tend to go with their feelings. Now, it's very different from the other two in a way, because these types, the 4s, are inwardly focused rather than externally focused.
Right.
What can be a challenge to a type 4 is that since they tend to really ride their emotions when it comes to making tough decisions, that can be really precarious, because emotions are constantly changing and inconsistent. So really what's very growthful to a type 4 is to use more logic and kind of like a Socratic method of deciding what to do in the circumstances of a tough decision. Like, they can check in with their emotions and note that, check, I'm feeling this way, this is what my emotions are telling me, but then source other avenues of information to make a more balanced decision. No 4 is going to like hearing that. They're going to say, oh, that sounds terrible. Like, I just want to go with my emotions. Like, I feel this way, it must be right. But from experience, knowing in tough decisions, our emotions don't always help us find like the ultimate like final decision or outcome that we really wanted. It might have felt good in the moment, like I'm angry, so I'm going to yell, but it might not lead us to where we want to be in the long term. So again, checking in, being more logical, and also talking to others about it that you can trust, that you know will hold your best interest at heart, and they can help you find a more neutral way of looking at whatever that tough decision may be.
Yeah. So one of the things I know for myself, and probably for many others, is when you're facing a tough decision that, you know, some tend to really go head on with it and try to figure it out. Others are probably procrastinating. Do you see any you know, differences here between type 2, 3, and 4 when it comes to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say 3 would be one of the quickest in terms of acting on a tough decision. They will want to get it done and get on with life. I think type 2s would be more in the middle, and type 4 would be the one that might tend to procrastinate, because they would be mulling over their emotions and trying to sort them out, and they can be rather complicated.
Yeah. So they probably feel that pain and that stress and that tension, and they're probably sort of stuck in a little bit of a loop there, and maybe hard to find the way out.
Yeah, and I think for type fours, it's especially hard because they are so naturally sensitive, which is truly a gift in many ways, but it's also a curse. They feel
Mhm.
things so deeply, and in making a tough decision that may also affect other people, they really take it to heart. And it can be
Yeah.
really hard for them to make an ultimate decision because they really feel all the different variables and how it's going to impact themselves and others. So, in being a very heart centered person that's very in touch with those emotions, can make tough decisions really, really tough.
I see that. I see. There's a differences between tough and tough, depending on your type.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. Well, that's it for today. Today, the hard types, how they make tough decisions. Again, if you watch this video, even if you don't watch it live, drop the comments or your questions either about your own type or maybe about other people that you know that have that type. Drop it in the comment section below. We'd be happy to respond to that either in the comments or maybe we'll even make a special Q&A video just for you.
That's right. We love doing special Q&A. So if you have a very particular question that's unique to you, definitely let us know. And also, I love to say, Karen is Sharon. So if you know somebody who might benefit from hearing this or just find it interesting, share it with them. We'd love to connect with more people.
Wonderful. Yes, we always love to grow our Enneagram Facebook group. So
Naomi's
it's
making me smile over here. Naomi's so fun. I love you, Naomi. Very good,
wonderful.
guys. So until next time, we'll be back to wrap up this series on tough decisions, and we'll be talking about the head types next. That will be types 5, 6, and 7. So stay tuned, and we will see you soon.
Wonderful. See you from next time from Vienna again.
From Vienna.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.